All right, my beautiful people, let's talk about these seven planets in retrograde. It has been crazy, 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 crazy. Today is September the 5th. So, in actual fact, that is very, very good news. That's very, very good news for these seven planets in retrograde. And this is a phenomena that hasn't happened in ages. So, this is not just another sort of it's not just sort of like another thing that's going on. It's actually quite a big thing. It's quite a profound thing. I know that the light's a little bit funny. For those of you that are following me, you would know that I moved into a new space. I'm in Cape Town now, no longer living in the country. And also, so thank you so much. A lot of you have actually been checking up on me because, I make quite a lot of material and I haven't done anything in a while. So some of you have really checked up on me, asked me if I'm okay, and I really, really appreciate that. I have been heavily affected by these planets, by these changes that were going on, and there's still a lot of things that are happening as well. So I just wanted to, to let you know what is going on, to give you the opportunity to prepare and to understand. Because even with myself, that was understanding that what was going on, it has been very crazy for me as well. So welcome to the video. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are coming back, thank you for your beautiful, constant, loving, kind support. I appreciate it with all of my heart. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Adrian Nelson. I am a mindset enhancement coach, and let's dive right in. So we're looking at the seven planets, which is basically, except for like Chiron and those planets. If you don't know Chiron and like planets like that, don't even worry about it. But the big planets that we're dealing with in astrology, or the main planets rather that we're dealing with in astrology, practically all of them have gone into retrograde, and the only one that has been quote unquote behaving itself has been Mars, which is actually really great news because Mars would have combobulated sort of everything. So I just want to give you a rundown of those, and also for those of you that are familiar with astrology, so obviously the sun and the moon that are treated as planets in astrology, they have obviously not gone into retrograde. But with today, first of all, before I go into all of these details, so first of all, with today being September the 5th, the one planet that has stopped going into retrograde yesterday was Venus on September the 4th. But I'm still going to cover Venus's effect because a lot of you may have felt it and it has been quite intense. And the fact that Venus has sort of come out of retrograde, and Jupiter, the planet of good luck and fortune, has gone into retrograde today, that's actually really, really great news. All right, so let's just stay with that just for a moment, and then I'm going to go into the breakdown. All right, and what I would also like to say that if any of you have been very affected by what was going on, let us know in the comments how you've been dealing with things, because this is a way that we can really support each other and we can support each other's growth in life. So for the next 4 months, as of today, September the 5th, 2023, you can really be looking forward to unexpected changes, alignments with luck, really amazing things happening, the unimaginable happening, but it's actually a very, very good thing. It's a really, really good thing. Dreams coming true, big dreams coming true, big changes, unexpected changes, but all of them driving in a very positive direction. So if you have been feeling, overwhelmed, you've been feeling combobulated, you've been feeling all over the place, all sorts of crazy and everything, know that you are not the only one. Everybody's been having it, okay? But now everybody's sort of really coming out of it as well, which is fantastic. So with that being said, let me get straight down into the breakdown. So even though Venus has stopped being in retrograde as of yesterday, I'm still going to cover that just to put in context a lot of the things that have actually been happening. All right, so Venus has been in retrograde from July the 23rd until September the 4th, which was yesterday, which was in Leo. Now, Leo is that very taking charge sort of energy. So for a lot of people, you really needed to step back, maybe needed to look at the struggles, things in your routine, things that were not working out, changing things up. So you may have found yourself in this last period that have passed, you may have found yourself changing up maybe the way that you do things, changing up the way that you do your service and things, an example of what I have been doing. So first of all, I've been doing massages, deep pressure point release massages for years in actual fact, and everybody has been encouraging me to do it for the longest time, literally for years, and I've always been like, no, 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 no. I do my Reiki, I do my crystal healing, I do my tarot, I do my distance healing, I do my NLP, my coaching. That's what I do, but not doing massages, and yesterday in actual fact, and this is how, and I haven't even been thinking about it, but yesterday was the first, I won't really say in person, yesterday was the first massage that I did for an actual client, like for a paying client, ever, so I've always been doing them. I really rock with them, but yesterday was the first time that I would actually really say had the courage to do it for a paying client, and it has been amazing. So that is one example of how the change in energy may have been affecting you in your life, and I'd really like to know how that has been affecting you. I'd really like you to share that with me. And then today, I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit here, but you'll see when we get to Jupiter. So this morning I woke up and I thought to myself, well, what will be so amazing is actually if I combine these, deep trigger point release massages, if I combine that with crystal healing and with Reiki, and I use the stones to actually do the massages, which actually means I'll be able to do it for more people, because to those of you that might be familiar with giving massages, as amazing as they are, they can really become quite strenuous on the body, like on the thumbs, and there's certain ways to do it, but it can still become quite strenuous on like your thumbs and like your wrists and things like that, even your arms and your shoulders and everything. And I realized, well, if I do it with crystals, then I can actually do more sessions, and I don't have to take constraint when I do them, so I don't have to sort of like constrain it to just one a day, which was what I was planning on doing. And so you may actually find yourself, depending on when you look at this, so if you're looking at it today, I'd love to hear your inspiration and your thoughts and your breakthroughs that you had. Or if you look at this later and you reflect back to today, then you might see how in your life, that same thing might have taken place, and I'd love to hear about it. So the signs that was, okay, so before I actually say that, my apologies. So I'm going to say the signs, the zodiac signs that would be strongest affected by this retrograde. But I want you to remember that when, often when we look at signs, we only think of our zodiac sign, our, sort of like our sun sign. So for example, I'm a Cancerian because I was born on July the 8th, 1982 at 14:45 in Cape Town in South Africa, via emergent cesarean, and I actually had an NDE, like a near-death experience at my birth because there were some complications. You know me, get the difficult things out of the way first. But so what I want you to remember is that you are not just your sun sign, you are not just your zodiac sign, you are a whole chart. So if you look at, sort of like depending on, where this energy is laying in your chart, then so when I give you the signs or the zodiac signs that are affected by this energy, I don't want you to think just sun sign. Think of where's your rising sign, where is your moon, where is your ascendant. Well, a rising and ascendant is the same thing, maybe where's your communication, that sort of thing, to see how this particular retrograde might be affecting you in a particular area in your life. The purpose behind this video is to be helpful so you can understand how to better deal with life. So you go like, that is why that is happening. Then you can start doing some research, which is actually really fantastic if you are sort of like interested in astrology and you want to learn about it more, maybe you want to expand your knowledge. This is really a great way for you to start doing that. Okay. So we spoke about Venus and the signs or the zodiac energies that would have been strongest affected by this Venus in Leo energy that has stopped yesterday. Would have been Taurus, Libra, Leo, and Aquarius. All right. And then from started on August the 24th, running until September the 16th, is Mercury. So I'm talking about the retrogrades now, the ones that are still active at the moment. So Mercury in Virgo, and so again, we are looking at your daily routines and the struggles in your daily routines, and it might be time to review those a little bit, So Mercury is the planet of communication, and it's also the planet that rules Gemini and Virgo, and also wherever your Gemini, so Geminis and Virgos will be affected strongest by this particular retrograde, but also it depends on where those placements are in your chart. So with Gemini, for example, my communication is very strongly placed in Gemini, even though I'm a Cancerian. And so that is something that will actually affect me quite strongly. All right. So is my love placement. So in many ways, I operate quite a lot like a Gemini. And so when it comes to areas of love, and when it comes to areas of communication, and that's even body language and the communication with yourself, the way that I will be affected by that is that it's really a time to review it. And to give you an example of that is, probably for the last 20 years or so, I've always been saying that, I don't really want love, I'm not really into it and that sort of thing. But I've realized that it was just because of trauma wounds that I have. So don't be surprised if you make those big realizations in this period, because retrogrades are really about pointing out those things in life that are holding you back. I know that especially with Mercury retrograde, everybody goes like, oh, Mercury's in retrograde, the world's going to fall apart. But retrogrades are really meant to help you to get clarity, to highlight the things in life that are not working in the best way for you, so you can actually pause, not fight them, not be in denial about them and karate chop them and stuff like that. But it's about really sort of checking in and seeing, okay, what is not working for me, and how can I maybe do that in a different way. So do not do yourself the disservice of pushing all challenges that come up in life away, because if you do, we never grow. As human beings, we see a challenge and we sometimes want to push it away. But if you can say, well, you know what, maybe this is a blessing in disguise, and you don't try, you don't have to open your heart to it and say, okay, let me suffer to all capacity. But if you can come from a point of saying, maybe this situation, maybe this circumstance, maybe this experience, maybe this interaction with this person could be to highlight an area of my life that if I, lovingly and respectfully sort of open myself to it and I review it, it might actually be here to teach me a valuable lesson. It might be a blessing in disguise. All right, that's a very good way to look at things. So up until September the 16th, there is an energy that is in the air. Now, obviously, we also have, periods like September 11th that is coming around, and there is quite a bit of tension in the air in any case, with that happening at the moment. And it might be time to let go of certain things. All right. So another planet that we're looking at the moment that is in retrograde since May the 11th, running till October the 22nd. So even if you look at those dates, May the 11th, double one, it's new beginnings, and then October the 22nd, two, it's an area of coming together. It's an area of, or sort of amalgamating, the positive things in life. Pluto is that planet that affects big things. So the Pluto retrograde is affecting all zodiac energies. And it's really trying to slow you down. As human beings, we have been running for generations. And also the thing to remember is that there's generational healing that's taking place at the moment, especially with Pluto. Pluto is affecting the bigger sort of areas of life. All right. So there's generational healing happening at the moment. So let's say, for example, you've got problems with your parents or your significant other or with your child or, whatever it may be with your job. The thing to remember with that is that, especially when it comes to, say, for example, our parents or the people that are older, like maybe our grandparents, yes, you might have the problem with them, but something that we sometimes forget is that those are also just people. They may have been carrying, that pain, that burden with them through generations, and they were just reflecting what they were knowing. Okay? and you have the opportunity at the moment for that to stop with you. This Pluto retrograde is in Scorpio, and Scorpio can be a little bit of a fighting sort of energy sometimes, but Scorpio also highlights the things that are not working. So there, you can expect up until about October the 22nd that challenges may come up for things in life that are not working for you. But remember, Jupiter is also in retrograde, so even if you have challenges coming up at the moment, this next at least this next couple 4 months up until December, going into January, almost till the end of January, it is opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to heal. It's an opportunity to see this is coming up. This is not really working for me. Let's try it a different way. So try not to get stuck in things. Try to not get into unnecessary fights with anyone. We are all in the process of healing. Okay, where we are at the moment, we are already in 5D. We already ascended to 5D. Now we are acclimating to it, and it's a little bit of a challenge for everybody. Okay, Saturn is another one, and Saturn can also kind of turn things upside down sometimes. Saturn started at June the 18th. It's running till November the 4th, and it's in Pisces. Pisces is the most I want to call it the most spiritually aligned, but let's just call it in more sort of like worldly terms. Pisces is naturally the most psychic sign, the most psychic zodiac energy, again, depending on where Pisces is in your placement in your chart. All right. If you don't know where your placement is there, or your placements are, there's a lot of free options that you can go online and actually check for your placements, free natal charts that when you're new to astrology, it gives you a hell of a lot of information. To a more professional astrologer, it'll be like, well, it's just a drop in the ocean. But if you are new to it, it can be really, really beneficial to you, and really take some time to go through that. The Saturn, the Saturn retrograde, it's all about spiritual review. It's all about inner healing. It's about releasing the limiting beliefs, stepping away from the things and the people and the energies that are not working for you. The placements that will be strongest affected by this is Capricorn and Pisces. Just because Saturn is the planet that is ruling Capricorn, and obviously the retrograde is in Pisces. Pisces is that death and rebirth energy. I don't have a tarot card with me now. Otherwise I was going to show you, but it's a death card energy, which is interesting because that's actually what got me into tarot in the first place. I wanted to know, why do people have this death card, and what is so extreme about it? But it's a period of stepping away. It's a period of reviewing your beliefs. It's a period of saying, well, I've been believing that, and I've been doing things that way, for a period of time, but is that still the way that I'd like to do it? It doesn't mean that you were wrong before, but what these changes that are taking place astrologically, and of course we are part of everything, and everything is part of us, it is just this period of, reviewing, is this still the way that I've been wanting to do it? Because when you really think about it, when you really look at it, as human beings, we've been doing the same thing sort of over and over, repeatedly, for the last number of years, and expecting things to be different. So it's a little bit like that Einstein saying, the description of a fool or insanity. It's like doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. This is a cleaning out period. It's a spring cleaning period in the entire universe, and with humanity. Like we said, that the universe is sort of like highlighting to you, you've been doing things this way for the longest period of time. Is this still how you'd like to do it? Are you happy, or you're just complacent because you are familiar with what is happening? All right. So are you actually happy, or are you just feeling, quote unquote, are you feeling safe? Okay. So you can expect weird things to be happening over the next couple of months, but still. And this is what's so fantastic about it. As crazy as it may get, the wonderful thing about that is that it's still a period that it's almost like having luck by default. So for a lot of us, life has been super, super, super hard for quite a minute there. I mean, we've come through lockdowns and COVID and all sorts of weird shit that's been going down. And it felt very unfair to a lot of us, even to me. I mean, make no mistake, I haven't been all love and light about everything. I've been complaining there like a crazy person. But with that also being said, remember that um, wherever you put your focus, that is where your manifestation goes. So a lot of things will be highlighted to you over this next couple of months. But the idea, if you can think of the universe as a person, try to not think so technical about it. If you kind of try to think of it as a great grandparent, it is trying to show us at the moment what isn't working and how we can change that to the benefit of all. So it's a very individual thing, and it's also a very collective thing. Okay, and it's really meant to enhance our oneness. There's a lot of limiting beliefs that will be released. So with that being said, I want you to also be prepared. So you would have seen there's a lot of things that have come to the surface in a very short period of time. I mean, everybody's been knowing. Well, I don't know if everybody has been knowing, but things like Hollywood handlers and things like that. And I know I'm not going to give any names, but there are some prominent figures that who has been named, for being these almost like, I suppose, next level Hollywood handlers. But the thing to also remember is that all handlers are also being handled, so be very careful before you just put that label on someone, that person is so cruel, they are the devil incarnate and stuff like that. Because the thing to remember is that there's always an upper sort of level going on, but there are some crazy things that are going to come to light. There's some real crazy things that are going to be coming to light. My spiritual team that call themselves Smile, they have been communicating things to me. I'll make some videos about that going forward. But you want to be prepared for some crazy things coming to light. And the wonderful thing about a lot of these things, even though they might be they might be very unsettling when they come to light, they may show to us how, even if you're not a very sort of starry-eyed person, how you may have been placing certain people on pedestals, okay? Which is really, really cool, because it enhances the oneness that we have among us. And my nose is itching, and when I do a tarot reading and my nose itches, it normally means that that this is something that's really on point. So for some of you, this must be a very, there's very personal things that are coming to light. This is Bruno, Sadebubbles. So the next energy we are looking at that is in retrograde, started on July the 1st and running until the December the 6th, is Neptune. And it's also this Neptune retrograde is in Pisces. So again, that Pisces energy coming forward, those endings and those new beginnings. So a lot of interesting things happening. A lot of heightened intuition is coming about again for everybody. Yeah, it's really everybody. Well, Pisces, I suppose, is affected by its strongest, but Pisces has got this natural empathetic, like empath sort of energy. But they are also very empathetic. I'm just falling over my words there, sorry. But their energy has a way of affecting all other energies. So if you know a Pisces, or you know somebody with strong Pisces in your chart, or you've got strong Pisces in your chart, you may have noticed that Pisces themselves, they would have had incredible difficulty dealing with life, maybe for, like, I would say at least the last 2 months, intense difficulty, and to the point that you may have said, you know what, I just can't deal with you anymore. They are actually going through a very difficult period at the moment, because they are feeling a lot of things, and they may not, they may be like in sort of like a mood, and they might be like sort of crazy, but they themselves don't even know why that is, and they may feel very victimized at the moment. So just, I mean, I know it can be hard, but try to be patient with our Pisces friends at the moment. Okay, there's a lot of spiritual connection that's happening at the moment. There's a lot of creativity stepping forward, a lot of mindfulness. And the thing to remember with this is that you want to be open to it. So if you do get creative ideas that are coming about, and you do get ideas of, like spiritual ascension and maybe more sort of like dreams and things like that, they have been fucking insane. They have been fucking insane, and you may have noticed that you had the weirdest dreams, very scary dreams, attracted to things that you may not have been attracted to before. You sitting there looking all serious and all professional. Just know that that is you aligning to a lighter sense, so think about it like this. A lot of us have been going through darkness and walking through darkness and operating through darkness for the longest period of time without actually being aware of it. So we're going into the light through the darkness, or rather from the darkness. So I just want you to know that a lot of these sort of darkness and challenges and things that you're becoming aware of at the moment, they have been around. We just haven't been aware of it. So you're just becoming aware of the craziness that has always been, sort of like flying under the radar, that a lot of the powers that be didn't want us to be aware of. So when these crazy things are happening, know that you are not going insane, you are not going crazy. There's a lot of people that are like, their psychic connections and abilities and all those type of things are just sort of like poof, going open at the moment. So you are not going insane in the slightest. And the key is to really embrace it. Don't try to fight it. Okay? Don't try to fight it. Even if you don't like it, try not to fight it like tooth and nail and make it so bad. Okay? And then we get into Jupiter. So the Jupiter retrograde started today, September the 5th, and it's running till December the 31st. Again, best news ever. It is changing the game for everyone. I would say signs that are, or the zodiac energy that is affected by its strongest is Taurus, but again, it's affecting everybody really beautifully. This is a time where you might find yourself looking at your self-worth. If you have been undercharging for your service, or you felt not worthy enough and sort of like good enough and deserving enough and those sort of things, you might find yourself really looking at yourself in a different way. You look at yourself in the mirror and you go like, ooh, I can do this, or I can do that, or you come up with these great ideas. I'm going to recommend that you really follow that. This is a time of looking at your self-worth, all right? Reflecting values, reflecting on your goals. Maybe you've been dreaming way too small, and so this is a period where almost automatically you start looking at yourself in a different light. Okay, so let's say you're a kick-ass massage therapist, and you've been working for other people for the longest time, or you find yourself being unemployed or unhappily employed, or you feel that you are not being fairly compensated for the value that you bring to the table and stuff like that. You may find yourself thinking, well, maybe I can do my own thing. Maybe I can start my own practice, or work from home, or teach others, or maybe do like a part-time thing. You say like you work through the week, maybe do a weekend thing, and vice versa, and things like that. Definitely go for that. Definitely go for that. And you don't have to be like a cannonball, out of like a boom all at once. Be patient with yourself. Be kind with yourself. Okay? Easy does it. Literally easy does it. The amazing thing at the moment is that if you can give yourself a fair chance, then the universe will do the rest for you, literally. Because remember, you are the universe. As a human being, you are the universe expressing itself in human form. All right? So if you can give yourself the slightest chance, even just in your mind, I promise you, you will be so super surprised by how things are just happening. And if you had some things that are starting to break through, I really want to encourage you, put it in the comment. Even if you post anonymously, I know that things are very personal sometimes, just to let other people know that they are not alone. Okay? And then lastly, we've got Uranus, and Uranus is quite an interesting planet always, really. And this Uranus retrograde started on August the 29th. In this year 2023, and the great news about this is that this one is actually running until January the 27th next year 2024, affecting the signs of Taurus and Sagittarius the strongest. But Aquarius is that interesting energy. If Aquarius walks into the room, you sort of just notice them, and it's the same thing with this change. It's a very transformative period. Breaking free from stagnation, boring routines. I want you to really embrace this change. It's really affecting everybody. It's really affecting everybody stronger. So I don't even want you to sort of like stay with that whole Taurus and Sagittarius thing. It's affecting everybody in the most strongest ways, in the most positive ways. And it really is about embracing change at this particular point in time. Okay? So I hope that helps you. Let us know in the comments. All right? And if you like this sort of material, then I'm really glad. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, be sure to like the video, share with others that will benefit from it, and also catch my weekly zodiac tarot readings for all the different signs. From my heart, namaste. Bruno's laying with his head on the table. Okay. Do you want a snacky, Boops? We'll give you a snacky. So thank you for your time, and I'll see you next time. Bye.